Welcome to Healing Highs with Lara, where we talk about the highlights and serendipitous moments of our healing journeys. My guest today is the founder and Imaginovator of Shaboo Prints and Productions by Shaboo, a boutique brand on a mission to reconnect adults with their original creative selves. Please welcome Veronica Vargas. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Veronica, for being here.
Thank you, Laura, and thank you. It's an honor to be with you, too. Thank you for being.
I'm so happy that we can share this time and everyone can hear about what you do and how you help people. But first of all, I want to congratulate you because you recently won a Telly award for your series.
Yes, thank you.
We'll have the links for that in the bio, but can you tell us what's it called? And
yes, so it's for my television program called Your New Odyssey, and it's half-hour episodes, taking people in a safe environment with a little bit of coaching like Brené Brown, formatted like the television shows in public television of my youth, with imagination exercises, creativity exercises. So you have a really immersive, easy, playful half hour, just you and me. Yeah, it seems to be something that is needed, and I'm
absolutely
really proud of it.
And you won a Telly award, which is so validating for
reassuring. Yes, it was in the public awareness and interest category, which I thought was profound.
Yeah. So tell us about that. Tell us what is a Telly? How did you react when you found out that you won?
So a Telly is like a grade award just below like an Emmy.
Okay.
For television series, excellence in video, and film. And it was a whim. I had no intention of winning. I thought it was a great exercise to step out in an expanded space and just to practice that. There was no wanting of a result. And so when I got an email saying, congratulations, you won, I just kind of closed it and went on to my other email thinking, yeah. It's probably some sort of marketing thing or anything but an award.
Right.
And I did my work through the afternoon, and my head said, you better take a look at that email again. And I looked, and I more carefully looked, and it said, you won bronze in this amazing category. And then I started to sweat. And then it started to really, I started to shake because it was unbelievable. This is something that is a heart felt project. It's very personal. I did it, me, myself, and I. The other winners, who silver was Al Jazeera, these are teams of people creating content.
Yeah.
And I stepped out creating content from my heart, keeping kind of my head down, just doing what needed to come out. And as a whim, as a personal exercise of development, applied, and boom.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's really incredible. And I like what you were saying that you're trying to step out of. It's very brave to submit something like that, like you said, from the heart, just you. It's the lights on you. We're looking at your creation, and a lot of people would experience doubt or have maybe imposter syndrome, something like that.
Big time.
I just feel like you were so confident to submit it, even if maybe you didn't feel that way. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just feel like people could benefit from you discussing, how did you move past that? Did you experience it?
Yes. Looking on the website of the award program, it's so polished. They're showing previous winners, and I'm talking PBS, Sesame Street, George Burns.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, sorry. I all of the documentaries and Class A productions. And it's very intimidating, but I knew that it was important to break through that intimidation anyway. And so that's why it wasn't about winning. It was about just applying and knowing that I am swimming in this new field, which was my goal to somehow access.
Yeah.
And It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I just think in any capacity we all could benefit from that type of movement, something that we're scared to do, whether it's small or big, you know, and to move past that doubt, past that, like, do I belong here? I know who you're talking about, that burn. Ken Burns. Yes.
That's right.
I'm so glad you remembered. I was like, I'm going to look it up because this is like, it's a big name.
Yeah.
So I just think we can all use that in so many different ways in our life.
Can I say, I think what broke me through that fear was following the joy, following the love of the project. So when you're doing something that you know is who you're supposed to be, just that action makes you more resilient.
Absolutely.
So you end up taking more risks. You end up doing things you wouldn't have imagined doing. I would have never thought I'd be on this side of the camera. I'm more comfortable on that side of the camera. But I was following this, and it was telling me, turn left, turn right, do this. And I knew, because of my previous experience and having some history, that I had no other option but to follow my heart in this chapter of my life. And look where it's taken me. If I had included my brain in any of this planning and development, I would not be here.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Absolutely. And it has value for sure. We got to check in with that part of us.
Yes.
But sometimes
it executes for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
But there are times that it's like, no, you're being too loud on the.
It's the policeman.
Doubt and we gotta mute you for a moment.
Right.
And so I feel like when you're saying that, you're following your heart, you're following like your intuition also, right? Something's telling you, go here, do that.
Yes.
Submit this. You have told me before in the past, like, you were psychic as a child. Can you tell us about that? Like, I think you felt like at some point you had to turn it off.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've got chills right now just you bringing it up. I think, like most people, was born very connected. Maybe I was hyper connected. I always felt even the air, everything felt different to me. I had extreme psychic ability where I was able to even see remotely things happening, but it was so natural for me. It was always a state of being in company with something, so it always felt very good. And then as I grew up, I started to notice others didn't have that I thought everyone did, and started to feel the difference. Kids starting to tease, how did you know that you're a witch? I would show, like, this is cool, look what I can do, and then there was a negative response, so then you start not to do that. At one point, my parents thought it was kind of fun to even do like parlor games when guests would come, and stuff like that, and I didn't mind, but it was the responses I started noticing, and like then the looks, and then not terribly feeling comfortable with the difference, the isolation, feeling isolated with it. So I started getting more quiet and shut it down. It was a positive connection that became very complicated for me. I'm now in a time in my life where I'm coming full circle, realizing that the shutting it down, that trajectory eventually led, I believe, to being depressed, not accessing my potential, feeling small. And so I think, especially as a mature person, we come to a chapter in our life where we want to expand back into that. And for me, it's accessing it again, and I'm finding just turning it on a little bit, boom, it's like Telly here, my ideas there,
door kicks open.
Yeah. So I'm working back to feeling the safety of turning it back on.
Yeah. And so how did you start to begin that process of leading into your intuition, using it to guide you, opening that door again? What?
Usually it's hitting a bottom so that you realize you have to turn it back on. And so for me, it was living a life without it, checking all the boxes of expectation that were made to be a good employee, a good daughter, good everything. And I found myself having a panic attack in a shower, getting ready for work that Monday. Absolutely sad about my life. And I had everything. I had everything that they told me to have.
Yeah.
And I thought, I can't do this anymore. I feel no joy. It was because I was not me.
Yeah.
And so that's when I realized if I was going to continue to live, literally, that I had to go back to finding my joy, to that girl back then who was intuitive, who played, who did all those things, or I couldn't live in this existence anymore.
Wow.
It was that intense.
And then when you were reconnecting with that part of yourself, what?
So I started trying to think of what brought me joy, and I had to go back to my youth. And I just remember feeling so much fun doodling, playing, writing.
Yeah.
And I just started doing those things on my off time. And what I found is that it shifted my energy.
Yeah.
It brought back the joy. I started creating other things. The things I created expanded. I started selling those things. I started getting encouragement. And it just took me off in another direction that is now, Shaboo Prints and Productions by Shaboo. It's just, it took me back in a direction that I was supposed to always go in. So yeah.
And because we've talked now a little bit about Shaboo, can you tell everyone, what is that? What is Shaboo Prints? What is production? What are the things that you create and help people with their own creating?
So Shaboo, the word itself, has got a fun story. It was my godson. He was 2 or 3, and he was running around in his little diapers, and they run like little penguins.
Yeah.
And I was chasing after him, and he was just Shaboo, Shaboo. And so that word to me reminds me of that energy, that joy, that boundless magic. And so that's why we called it Shaboo, and Shaboo Prints and Productions by Shaboo are me using all of my skill sets, creating products, manufacturing products, both digital and film, and hard products that help adults connect back with that youth. So it's very playful, they're really fun. I'm all about play, is a very important aspect. So we make a variety of products now, all with the theme of connecting and hopefully turning that back on, or at least a slight memory to start the process of, people coming home to that original youthful, creative, genius self.
Yeah. And I've told you this before, but so many of my clients and students, when we're working through healing, they'll come to a space where they'll ask me a question that the answer I give, and the question can be lots of different questions, but the answer is, I think you should play more. I think you should be creative in any capacity, and you can be creative in anything, and just lean into that energy more, and that's going to unlock so much for you. And then after I say that, they go, okay, how should I start that? Or what should I do? And I'll give them little ideas, like little gentle, just do these little things and then follow what that opens up. Yeah. And then you and I started connecting on this, and I thought, oh, this is perfect.
Yes.
How you can come in and be the one to go over here, talk to her. She's going to take you through how to do that in a safe way.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. A couple things. It's so funny how the adulting process has made us literally an adulterated version of who we were born to be. Right. And so even approaching an adult with the concept of play, they're uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. I've had some adults get, frustrated with me, or angry with me at the concept because they think it's frivolous, it's for children, it's almost insulting. And so that's how much work needs to be done to bring them back to themselves. That's how efficient the messaging has been.
Oh yeah.
Right? The key is simply to follow the joy, follow the love. It's to try to bypass the mind and communicate with the heart. And you can do that by doing anything you love. It doesn't have to be a brush or a pencil. It could be gardening, dancing, styling, dressing.
Yeah, if you like putting makeup on, anything. Yeah.
It's your way. Your honest, true self-expression is naturally and innately playful, which tells you that, one, we're born innately playful and creative, and that I believe it's actually a law of nature, because you see it in animals. They all create and they all play.
Oh, yeah.
And yet we stop that, and no wonder we become lopsided as adults.
Yeah, and you're right. So many people think it's beneath them to play, but it's such a key.
Impractical.
Yeah.
Not enough time for it.
Yes, right. There's other things. It's just, I always think those are the things that if we did them, the rest of it would be easier. And that's what you want ultimately.
Yeah, and that's just it. It's simply letting go. It's becoming your real self, which will be playful and it's enjoyable. For some reason, we've made it impractical to be creative and playful and imaginative. Luckily, I believe we're in a time in history that they're calling the New Renaissance, that is requiring more imagination and creativity to build what's ahead, because literally things have broken apart with pandemic and global warming and globalization. The changes are necessary and the changes are natural. We have lost the natural ability to be flexible because we've lost our imagination and creativity. So reigniting your imagination and creativity is practical. It's for your professional life, for your private life, and here's the hoot, it's fun. I know.
And it seems hard, but actually it's easy once you get into it.
It's easy when you just let go.
And I'm always, the majority of people who listen to this are healers. Yes. They're in that world. They're on that path. They're doing a healing journey. And I always say, if we are trying to align ourselves with source or creator, it's creating. That is when you are in alignment, and you can create in any way that you want.
Yes.
And I remember a long time ago, I don't know, maybe it was Deepak Chopra, I don't know, said something like, even the dry cleaners is a form of, they can create. They're looking at chemicals, they're looking at how to take out something or do this, restore something. Like, that is creation. Like, it's not
possible not to.
Painting and dancing and singing. It's in everything. So
everything you see, everything you touch, everything you have in your fridge, everything
how you want to decorate your space, like, it's just all creation. So, like, if we can just lean into that more and be in that space, it is so helpful for so many things. It's
mind-blowing to me that it's so hard to break through with that concept. But I think things are changing. It feels like things are changing,
and people want to know about it, and they feel something calling that. And then like in these exchanges I have with my clients and students, they're asking a question that leads that to be the answer. So it's like, it's being, the frequency is there, they sense it, you know.
And I think that's why I won the Telly, to be honest. I don't know if I could have a year or two prior.
So that kind of leads me to what are these things?
So, let's imagine for a moment. I want you to imagine you've had a really awful day. Maybe someone was mean to you. I mean, the day cut you deep, and you're feeling really down, and you are stuck. You can't write. You can't, you're just really in this dark place, which happens a lot. Okay, so just really embody that feeling. Dead-ended, stuck, upset, hurt.
I'm so glad I had no idea what it was. Cute.
there are tools, but look what joy does, how it transitioned you.
Yeah.
You're out.
Right.
Right? And so there are tools, there are fun things. Toys are a great way, they're a great practical tool to pull you out.
Yeah.
Adults are uncomfortable with the word of play and toy. There's power in them, there's joy in them. Play, but look at what it can do for you professionally, at home, and with your relationships. So, because of that, this is yours.
I get one.
You get one, and I close my eyes, and everyone has its own quote, and I embody that person, and I pick, and the quote on the cherry toot itself, it's called a cherry toot.
I was gonna say it's called a cherry toot.
Is intended for you specifically.
So my quote is, "You are the Pied Piper for others seeking fulfillment." It's so cute.
Ain't that the truth?
Oh my goodness! Thank you so much.
So
How fun.
yes. If you want to light up a room, you just come in with that thing.
Everyone is gonna be annoyed with me, but it's like a perfect example because you want to like play and do those things, and then people are like, "Okay, that's enough of that,"
right?
You know? Yeah.
But the impulse was to crack up.
Yeah.
That's our natural innate self. And so if you play that in a room, you're basically giving folks permission
and then
to reconnect with that.
Yes, and then also because I do a lot of sound healing, it's the frequency, the tones, they remind us of something.
Yeah.
It is a silly, thing, and that's what we need more of. Like, I love a silly, any gesture that's silly. So thank you. This is lovely. It's so and very meaningful with the quote.
Right.
It's lovely.
And it's the spirit of Shaboo. It's the spirit of play, reaffirming who you are and communicating with you.
So great.
And she's really goofy. Playful.
I try to be goofy.
Naturally.
I want to be. Thank you. That's sweet of you. So back to you. We're kind of like weaving in and out of your offerings, but then also your healing journey.
Yes.
Kind of
my healing journey.
Yeah, and it all comes together and how you formulate that then to help others. So on your own healing journey, have you had moments that were like this, wild or funny or just really validating for keep going?
Most recently the Telly.
Yeah, I mean, yes.
For sure. Usually for me, it's the joy that I have when I'm creating my own content or products. Mm-hmm. I am literally giggling throughout the process. It's like I'll make something and I'm like, that was funny, or that's, oh my God, that's amazing. So the energy that I feel, I work longer, I work harder than I've ever worked, but I have never been more fulfilled. I have never been more energized. It's like a red carpet that keeps flopping open. Mm-hmm. So it feels endless. I feel like my best years are always ahead. So just the process of doing what I'm meant to do in my business, the feeling that I have that I'm embodying is so different than when I was doing everything others told me to do.
That you're supposed to do.
This is what is feeding my soul.
Yeah.
And I know now there is no other direction to go. Yeah. So when my heart says to turn left, when everyone else is turning right, the feedback is the fulfillment and the joy that I have. The secondary response is the success that's coming from that. Mm-hmm. So, I still freak out. My mind still gets in the way. It tells me not to apply to the Tellys and all that kind of stuff. But, and then the feedback from people telling me that they don't know what happened, but they went far and deep in an imagination exercise they were on, or their autistic son was riveted for a half hour, which was unusual.
Lovely.
Yeah.
This is a perfect example of this question, but what are some other ways that people can ease developing creativity or play more into their life?
So I've come up with a word that I call creativities. And because adults will say, I have no time for creativity. It's, you know, it's like another job, and it isn't. It's a part of our everyday life. Creativity is basically when the mind is kind of asleep and the heart is free to open.
Yeah.
You can't help but be creative. In that state, you are a creative being. So it's simply doing things that quiet the mind. And so it could be anything from washing the dishes. Suddenly you'll find yourself humming.
Yeah.
Like you're in that, you're there.
Yeah.
You are creative. You could be washing the car. You could be meditating. You could, anything that quiets and dulls the mind, you please be aware that you will naturally shift into creative being mode.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's nothing to do but to do something that you enjoy, that opens the heart, or that quiets the mind. And we do activities all day, every day, driving, that can bring us into that, because we are naturally born creative beings.
Yeah.
There's nothing to do.
Yeah. And what do you notice that leads to for people?
Anything and everything. So you might have an instant idea if you're stuck on something, or a way to accomplish something. Creativity will reroute it. And so suddenly you'll have a solution or an idea. It immediately uplifts your mood, as you see.
Yeah.
So emotionally, it's very fulfilling. Anything and everything. If you are feeling small, if you're feeling pressure, if you're feeling time, it releases you from all of the above. It is a magical force.
Yeah.
And it's who we are.
Yeah. We are created. We create. Yeah. I love it.
Yes.
And so I was really feeling that and really moving through that. This tea is so great. Do you guys know that this episode is sponsored by Seva Tea? It's handcrafted for the conscious soul, deeply rooted in ancient wisdom of Ayurveda. Each sip, Seva Tea invites you on a sacred journey of self-care, elevating your soul through a mindful practice. Seva Tea is available at Seva Tea Lounge in Kavala Wellness in Long Beach, California, and on Etsy. Learn more at Seva Tea Lounge on Instagram. So how do you feel what you're offering does for others? How do you feel that's helping the collective and helping the world?
Oh man, it is. I've got chills just with that question. My goal is to, through my products or through the television program, awaken in you, unintentionally or intentionally, a moment where you feel that magic again, that youthful, original, creative person.
Yeah.
There, even if it's for a moment, I know it's the beginning. You will recognize it, you will know it, even if it isn't in your mind. In your body, you will recognize it. So if I can keep giving adults those hits, those moments of connectivity, I know that it spreads in their life. It helps them expand and explore that chapter they know exists, but with the current setting cannot access. I am offering through my products access to that. And I just know that this, you know, if I can touch one person, I want to touch millions, and I don't think that's hyperbole. I think it's reasonable to think we should.
Yes.
Imagine what that could do. Imagine not only the level of creativity, but the compassion, the resiliency, the joy, the fulfillment in humanity in general.
Oh my gosh.
Right? And it's not impossible.
Absolutely.
It's how we were made. All I'm doing is reminding us of that.
Yeah, absolutely, you are. So it's kind of speaking of that, I was going to have you show me how to use this.
Okay. So I'm going to let you discover it.
Oh, okay. Because I had my eyes closed when you did it, so I was like, wait.
Oh yeah, it's natural.
How fun. Thank you so much.
It is. It's a hoot.
I was like, wait, why didn't I ask her to like I don't know, when something's in a package, you're like, okay,
what are the
later.
instructions?
I open it later and then look at it, and I was like, well, it's mine, I can do it.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so I feel like this episode is perfect because it's like your energy. We're just like, and then this, and this. It's and then. Not necessarily like in an order.
That's okay.
I want to, again, come back to your own healing.
Yeah.
We talked about in the beginning, you being psychic and you're accessing that more.
Yes.
Where do you feel you are right now in working on that, and how that helps you access your creativity even more?
Oh man. I feel like I have a long way to go.
Okay.
I think it's a process, a lifetime.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't think there'll be a there because I think the field of it feels totally vast.
Yeah.
But right now I'm really flying high. I mean, It feels like I'm getting reassurance. I'm getting recognition.
Right.
It's all systems go.
Yeah.
And so I'm very excited. So I'm in a really good place right now.
Mm-hmm.
But it will continually be an opportunity to further expand trust in myself when I create, and even when I do the monologues on the television program Nothing Scripted. So it's a constant work of, first I embody creativity and then I let it out. So it's a day-to-day process. Some days I'm better at it than others.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. So I do want to tell everyone that we are putting together a 8-week course that
So excited.
is maybe we're a pretty good way through it. So we have a very strong idea of what it is.
Really
we're
excited.
helping people develop their emotional IQ, heart-centered healing. It's a mix of energy healing, meditation, and then what you do. Like, do you want to share from your point of view what it is that we're creating?
So it makes perfect sense, and this is with also Kim.
Yes,
Yeah.
my sister, and also we should say we are cousins, second cousins,
Right.
I guess. And yeah, the three of us are putting this together, where her aspect is coming in with the elements of physical and nutrition, using Qigong movement to open up, support the physical channels. But yeah, tell us from your perspective.
So excited. So to me, it makes perfect sense, almost like a perfect triangle of mind, body, spirit, right? So it makes perfect sense for us to tandem. You opening, you're so good at opening the heart, resting the mind through your meditations and through your processes. What I'm really good at, I believe, is creating the environment that you're feeling safe and playful. So you help create the safety too, but I kind of like, well, let's play, and here's what play is, and feel safe in play, and let's discover not only your imagination, which is like snorkeling on the surface, but let's go and discover your super imagination. Let's get the scuba gear and go deep. And we can do that through different imagination exercises that I have. So it's a great tandem, and then I'd love to then pass them back to you, and then we process right, the mind versus the heart tensions and all that's happening, so that you can recognize when you are more creative and when you are more in your mind, the tools to be that, and then with Kim, how to embody that physically through food and your body
movement
and every day.
Yeah. So we're in the process of putting it together. I would say early 2025.
Yes.
We'll have that going, and we'll let everyone know.
Yes.
But yeah, I wanted to have us touch on that.
Yes.
I think my last question is, if you could talk to your child self, what would you say to her? What do you think she wishes she could hear more of?
You're making me cry. That I'm going to talk to her directly. You are everything. You are the key. You're the key to me. You're the key to my future. You're me. You're the key to me. And I'm so sorry that you were shut down, that you felt unheard and not valued. But now, me, a grown-up me, promises to give you the space and the safety and the freedom to be you all out, because it helps me.
That was beautiful. Thank you for being so transparent and vulnerable this whole time, but especially in that, because I feel like what you just said, so many of us could say the same thing to ourselves, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like it will resonate with a lot of people.
I hope so.
Thank you. I think that's a beautiful place for us to end. And on the note of silliness, on this podcast, we always end with asking the void a question. I have a question, but I also offer you the space if you have a question for the void, and you just ask it into the ethers if you want. If not, I have one.
Okay, go first, because I don't want to think about the void.
Oh, okay.
All right.
I get 2 questions today, void. Okay. What was your favorite game to play as a little void?
As a little void.
I like little, like saying LIL, little void.
Making galaxies.
Ooh, jeez. I'm over here making mud soup as a potion. You're out there creating universes. Amazing. You don't have to, no pressure.
Oh no, I'm just going to ask a favor, Void. Can you drop an egg universe in our dimension here?
Sure.
Oh, a favor. Okay, I love it. Thank you.
Oh, there it is. Yep.
So incredible. Thank you again for being here, sharing all of this
fun.
knowledge with us. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having the interest and the genuine love for imagination and creativity, and your creativity and the gift that you're offering.
Thank you.
Including what you give me. That's just wonderful.
So kind. It's a lot. I'm like taking it in. So thank you, healer, for joining us today. I wish you joy and serendipity on our healing journeys, and I hope our paths cross again.
Yes. So funny. That was fun.